The Ecumenical Order of Christ has decided to extend an invitation to people previously not focused on in our outreaches. If you do not yet know who we are, then I suggest you should educate yourself about it as soon as possible. I will provide some links to get you started in the description of this video. Until now, we have focused most of our attention on the groups that most fervently claim to believe in God and the Lord, mainly Christians, Muslims, Jews, and the leaders of these Abrahamic faiths. Sadly, our efforts have proven them to be little more than delusional hypocrites, or they have a vested personal interest in defying the Lord and covering up the most important event in human history. I don't blame them, though. I blame Satan for these circumstances, but it's simply not possible for us to help people who do not want to be helped. That is why we now turn to people like you, people who have been hated and persecuted because you love the truth. Unlike the groups previously mentioned, you have not made excuses because you would rather be comfortable in a world of lies. You have chosen discomfort for the causes of justice and truth. Many of you have lost family, friends, jobs, money, platforms, accounts, been beaten, jailed, or worse for these causes. You may not see it this way, but you are martyrs. It could be the case that you call yourself Christian, Muslim, Jew, or something else entirely, or nothing at all. It matters little to me. If you love the truth, then you love God, as far as I'm concerned. I will provide some examples of the sort of people we are trying to reach out to. You may have expressed concerns about what have been done to women in society.
Well, a female CEO is taking some steep criticism after she decides to casually share her opinion about Hillary Clinton's decision to run for president. She did this on Facebook. Her name's Cheryl Rios, CEO of Go8 Marketing. She says a female should not be president. Here's part of what she wrote. She says, yes, I run my own business and I love it and I'm great at it, but that's not the same as being the president. That should be left to a man, a good, strong, honorable man.
President of the United States, to me, should be a man, not a female.
Or what has been done to men.
Men are committing suicides at much higher rates than women are. When women and men separate or divorce, men commit suicides at 10 times the rate.
Men are routinely ground up in a family court system that is misandrist and biased against them. They're ground up by a court system that is biased against men of all races. They are the majority of the homeless. They are the majority of suicides. They are the majority of the drug addicted. They are the majority of the unemployed. They are the majority of school dropouts. They're a majority of those in prison.
Men, when they get divorced, they only get custody of children 10% of the time.
Even if the woman's cheating?
If the woman's cheating, and if that's not your child, most states say you still have to pay. You find out 3 years later your 3-year-old isn't yours, you still have to pay in most states.
Or address the hysteria regarding genders in general.
Bruce Jenner has finally finished his transformation into a woman and unveiled who he has been calling her for so long.
Why are we modifying combat-proven standards? Why would we modify something that has already been proven in combat? This is not about equal opportunity. The Marine Corps, by the way, has never been an equal opportunity employer.
Well, last May, the Obama administration announced a new rule requiring every public school in the country to let transgender students use whichever bathroom or locker room match their preferred gender identity. Well, yesterday, the Trump administration retracted that rule, saying that bathroom policies like these are state issues.
You want me to walk into a man's bathroom? And I'm okay with doing that, but it puts me at risk by getting beat up by walking in there. It puts a man who's a female-to-male transgender at risk for walking in a female's restroom.
Maybe you've criticized the indoctrination of the youth.
We're in a situation now where students can go to university, they come out dumber than when they went in. They are infantilized by safe space and trigger warning culture. The idea that interrogating a new idea, coming into contact with a school of thought or a person that doesn't conform to your prejudices, is somehow problematic, that it gives rise to trauma. This evening, there is a safe space at Michigan University to protect the safety and emotional well-being of students from this dangerous faggot and a lesbian with the wrong opinions. That is insane.
What is happening here is that these are student protesters, some anarchists from what I can gather, and trying to breach the building right now. Oh! Back up! Watch out!
You may have tried to expose the conspiracies of the world.
This is Dabu7, and I've gone ahead and uploaded in this video the audio that is connected to this whole bombshell bit of information pertaining to chemtrails. It's not a conspiracy. It's very real, and the NASA scientists have admitted it.
Understanding video compositing, both its capabilities and its limitations, goes a long way towards solving 9/11.
We don't see any parts of the plane breaking off or any parts of the building breaking.
The past 65 years, city governments nationwide have been adding a substance called fluoride to the water supply. The practice of water fluoridation started at a time in history when asbestos, PCBs, and DDT were all deemed safe and effective. And although all of these chemicals have been banned since, fluoridation is still a common practice.
All spoken out against immigration policies and suggested that white people should be able to advocate for their interests.
The idea that without mass immigration, that the founding people of this nation, the people who created America, would be stupid and starving is not just insulting, it's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life.
Chanting, "Go back home," a wall of protesters blocked the road into the Marietta Border Patrol station.
You are obstructing the roadway. Please move or you will be cited.
As anger grew in the crowd,
We need to go back to Mexico.
some not understanding these migrants were all from Central America, tempers flaring, one protester spitting at an immigration rights supporter.
You could be a historian whose only crime was to present what you found in the archives.
They're trying to gag me and fetter me and chain me to one place because I go around the world speaking my mind and telling audiences like yourselves what I found in the archives. And it was quite a wide world originally. I used to go around the world once every year, the same as I now go around the United States, speaking to audiences in South Africa and Australia and New Zealand and Canada, everywhere. Not one of those countries is now available to let me in. I was deported in handcuffs from Canada in November 1992 on the instructions and at the request of the people that I call the traditional enemy of the truth. They had the money, they had the clout, they had the press behind them, and I fought them for 3 weeks in the Canadian courts, beginning in Vancouver and ending up in the courts in Ontario until finally, to our astonishment and to the astonishment actually of the press, I was ordered deported in handcuffs and put onto a plane in handcuffs at Toronto Airport and flown back to Britain.
I hope the recipient of this message understand what sort of people we are trying to reach out to. I suppose something you have in common is that you've been labeled as rightists. Alt-right, far-right, something to that effect, and that is very appropriate, considering how the Lord said he would separate the sheep from the goats. We are all being judged, whether we know it or not. It's also important to note that we don't necessarily agree with everything you stand for. That is, in fact, extremely unlikely. So you should be aware that you are in need of some correction. But if you truly do love the truth, then you should appreciate this blessing that we can provide. To those who would respond to this call, I give 3 directives at this point. Number 1. Proudly display the Lord's cross and never deny your loyalty. Display the cross on your profile or on your person. This will grant you protection, and we will make sure that you have a place in the kingdom, even if you die. Number 2, continue to expose lies and corruption. Stay true to our cause. Number 3, do not engage in violence. Lord Rael has got this part covered. Finally, I hope that you can find it in your hearts to believe that we are who we say we are, and that is the returned Christ's chosen priesthood. Yes, the one you've come to know as Jesus. So now, join us, and our mutual goals will be achieved that much faster.